everybody, and happy Saturday. It is a long weekend, so I hope everybody is having some plans or at least staying safe for coronavirus. However, let's talk about Navalny. So, Germany announced this week that Navalny was poisoned for the same type of family of drugs as Novichok. So this gets very interesting. As we know, Novichok is a very strong neurological poison. It is used only by the state actors. I mean, maybe some oligarch could possibly get it in the private hands, and there was one case where someone was able to get such class of substances, and it was back in '94, and they spent a lot of time in jail. But that was also at the time when Soviet Union just collapsed, and it was almost wild '90s in Russia. There's a lot of murders, gangs, mafia, and everything else that was included in that time. Otherwise, it's the only known case of ever anybody private getting a hold of such strong class of poison and basically biological weapon. Let's call it what it is. Nevertheless, what is very interesting, we all heard about Novichok from the case in Salisbury of Skripal. It was a very famous case that happened in 2018. There's also unfortunately innocent people that were poisoned as well, based that it is highly dangerous, and anybody who comes in contact with it gets really ill and obviously gets poisoned. To what degree? That's where the question comes in. And I'm not saying Skripal was innocent or not, but nobody deserves to be poisoned in any way, shape, or form. Obviously, he worked in intelligence, he was convicted of treason in Russia, then was swapped, and clearly Bellingcat and everybody else did provide evidence that he was poisoned by the Russian intelligence services. So that's already been discussed many times. Apparently now Skripal and his daughter are living in New Zealand. However, again, nor confirmed nor denied because they were given new identities. Obviously, we'll never know. Maybe 50 years from now when something gets declassified, we'll actually find out where Skripal's ended up being. Nevertheless, back to Navalny. So if Navalny was poisoned by the same class of poison as Novichok, then how come nobody who came in contact with him ever got ill? Because this is a strong substance. Because highly likely it was put either in his clothing, somewhere in a hotel room. But again, if anybody came in contact with him, it would have been at least, because, let's say it had delayed effect because it was not as potent or exactly identical as Skripal's. He did not feel ill right away. He was not given or put any substance in the airport, because otherwise there would be a lot of more cases and it would have been reported. It would have not been administered on a plane because there was a lot of other people, then there would have been much more hospitalizations than just Navalny. Also, his assistant who came to his aid and was sitting close beside him, she did not get ill. And yet Navalny is the only one. So how would it be possible that he's the only one who got poisoned with Novichok? I'm not discrediting German doctors, and I'm not discrediting European Union, and I'm not discrediting anything of that nature. It's just very odd what would be exactly the substance, because, and also, there's only two places that such substances can be produced. There's one in Russia, obviously, which is located, well, about, let's say, 200 kilometers from Moscow, minus plus. And the only other people who had access to it, and it was during Soviet era, it was one of the labs outside of Georgia. But Georgia has been loyal to the West and NATO. There's no way Georgia and it would ever come at this point from that lab. It's almost impossible. And nobody could have been able to store it for like 20, 30 years from there and then suddenly use it now. So that one is completely automatically written off. The lab outside of Moscow, further from Moscow, that's a possibility, but even then. Also, even there was interviews done, and of course, I can't say anything because it was available in the Russian media and state media. Therefore, I mean, obviously Russia has a very prudent interest in that, but they did interview one of the creators of Novichok, and he was stating as well, given the symptoms, and given that nobody else was poisoned around him or sustained any type of dose, it possibly could be an error. I'm sure Navalny was poisoned, but with what? That remains to be a question, unless there's a new super drug or super biological weapon that Russia just came up with and they were testing it on Navalny because he's been, Kremlin's critic, but again, he's not strong enough to hold enough base. Two, there's actually a NATO meeting, emergency meeting being set up to discuss this in regards to Navalny. At the same time, when horrible Khashoggi's murder happened and Turkey is a part of NATO, nobody was calling for emergency NATO meeting and his death was horrendous, but Navalny. So at the same time, I mean, I understand the world's concern and it should be, but why Navalny? Why would he be so important? Not that I'm saying anybody's life is not important, but to have NATO membership, have a meeting, that's a lot in regards to Navalny. Lastly, given if Russia gonna receive new sanctions, Saudis never received new sanctions. I'm not advocating for Russia at all. I think Kremlin is evil and corrupt, and Putin has been in power far too long. I'm sure he's not an honest person. He is technically a dictator, even though in Russia, they don't show it as that. They give people opportunity to believe they have somewhat of a say when China just automatically doesn't let anybody have a say. But, the same type of trajectory, communist dictator. I mean, yes, he's an Orthodox in church. Yes, church doesn't agree with communists. But again, it's just different type of dictator. I guess you would call him a hybrid dictator if you really wanted to define Putinism. Because I think there should be actually a word and definition what Putinism is. Same as there is, Trotskyism and, Leninism. I think there should be Putinism because it's a hybrid. And I think it should be more discussed and studied because he is a dictator and how the modern world dictators operate. They still have the old modus operandi and rely on old principles, but there's certain new things that people fail to identify. That is why Putin, ironically enough, has certain supporters in the West, just because people fail to understand that just because he allows religion or he allows certain speech and he allows people to vote, and there is somewhat of an opposition party, that he is not truly a dictator, and Russia is, even though not full democracy, it has democratic principles. That is absolutely not true. But again, Navalny. So, if you compare it to the case of Skripal's cats even had to be put down because it was so potent that Novichok could have potential other exposures to everybody else. With Navalny, nobody else has exposed. There's no threat anywhere else. Also, there's one interesting fact about Navalny's situation. Navalny was under criminal charges in Russia. I mean, sure, they might have been concorded. I'm not saying they were true or not, but he was. And he gave special privileges that he was allowed to leave Russia because, again, anybody who has criminal charges pending usually are not supposed to be traveling or leaving. He even violated his own recognizance by traveling even to Siberia. But again, it's Russia. The games are played there. There's no true law enforcement per se. That is why, it's such a dangerous place to travel in general, because the law enforcement, that's a different story within itself when it comes to Russia and its principles. So, on top of everything, if everybody knows, there's been a famous story, Russian scoop Prigozhin, he's under sanctions, and he cannot travel to US, and there's a lot of problems associated with him. He's also been linked to the big St. Petersburg Russian troll farm, which is actually true. He did run troll operation meant to, send disinformation and cause discourse, and including US elections and many other factors. So, interestingly, Prigozhin owes all Navalny's debt now. He bought it out, and Navalny's accounts and everything has been frozen for some time now. So, at this point, it's not in his best interest to go after him if he was, pointed fingers at, because Navalny Live TV on YouTube continues to point fingers at him. Yes, he's a horrid, horrid person. He absolutely has no morals. He's despicable for what he does. Yes, but would he have a vested interest? He's one of the major players close to Putin, but no, that wouldn't be it, because he wouldn't have such interest, especially owing Navalny's debt. What interest would he have? Especially, even though I'm sure he has a lot of access and a lot of power. So this is that. Also, on YouTube, because I'm sure a lot of people know, Navalny has his own YouTube channel with quite a big following in Navalny Live TV show. He has a couple of close allies, And last week, they were actually threatening death on Prigozhin. It was actually publicly stated that they said something will happen to him when he travels in Africa, and they'll rejoice with his death and coffin. I'm paraphrasing. It was said a little bit differently, but that was the meaning of it. And yet, YouTube or anybody else does not do anything about it. They don't remove the channel, because anybody else on YouTube, any blogger, anybody else, if you start wishing death or uttering death threats or actually using severe profanities, because Navalny Live uses severe profanities and swears in English and then disguises them as being, nouveau type of Russian vocabulary by integrating English swear words and everything like that into their live broadcast, which is actually careless because they have high followings. There's a lot of people who watch them as a leader of positions, and yet, Navalny supporters resort now to death threats and such behavior. I mean, well, officially it was not saying that they will do anything to him, but they were wishing him dead and also saying something will happen to him. So, I mean, when you say something will happen to him, in, for example, Africa, which is an odd place too, because lately, Russia has had a lot of interest going into Africa. They already made a lot of deals with Africa. They were accused of being involved in Libya. There's also accusations when the situation in Mali happens, and one of the senior leaders from there came back from special forces training from Russia, just came back. There's a lot of different situations. Well, of course, there's Syria, Mediterranean, there's a lot of factors. I just thought it was very odd that Navalny Live TV was saying that Prigozhin will end up dead in Africa when he travels, which is, again, very odd comment to make, but then again, also, I wouldn't be discounted that they're angry and upset that, their leader is poisoned, laying in, induced coma in, charity clinic in Germany. So, I mean, I could understand the frustration, but still, if you're having a broadcast using such profanities and anything related to death of anyone else does not really sound appealing, even though, like I said, Prigozhin is horrible. I mean, he's pretty much, Putin's cook. There's a big scandal with him and falsification of meals, and a lot of children got sick in Moscow because his company has exclusive contract. So that shows you that he has no morals and he'll stoop as low as possible if need to be. But that's Russia for you. I mean, that's not the first, that's not the last. He's not the worst or better. Russia, unfortunately, is like that. And that is why there's a problem, and that is why U.S. citizens traveling or Canadian nationals to Russia should be vigilant, because right now there are cases of American nationals sitting in prison. There's a recent, in jail. There's a recent one where, former Marine is sitting in Russian jail now because he had a Russian girlfriend, and now he's accused of possibly cooked up charges, but at the same time, that's a lot of honey traps happen, and even if she was an honest person in Russia, Russian intelligence could get a hold of her, threaten her family. She would have no choice but to comply. So he could be set up, but I'm just saying in general, Russia is a very different wild, wild west. As much as in one way it's a civilized society, in another way the methodology used is pretty scary. The government runs everything, intelligence runs everything, law enforcement runs everything, anything can happen to you there. So what does everybody think about Navalny overall? If it is some type of class of Novichok, does anybody possibly know if there's any new one, or like some new biological warfare that Russia just had and Navalny was just being as a guinea pig for it, as sad as it sounds, to see how well it works and if it could affect others or not? Because Russia is known to be, tested in the past on its own populace during the Soviet era, so that wouldn't be new. Even, unfortunately, that's the truth behind it. So do you think that could be it exactly? Because otherwise, who else would want him poisoned? I mean, Kremlin, sure, but again, right before the Duma election, he's not that strong. And if Russia wants to falsify election results, he's smart voting or not, voting for any candidate that's just not Putin. I mean, it's not going to be a threat to that type of regime. So what is it then? What does everybody think about Navalny, NATO situation, and what does everybody think in general? Would love your opinions. Please click like, subscribe to my channel, and of course you can read my articles under www.communalnews.com, Kristina Kitova. Thank you, and hope everybody has a great Labor Day weekend. Bye!